Good morning students. Welcome back to operating system class. Today here I am going to explain process scheduling queue. Okay, what is the process scheduling queue? So before the process scheduling queue, I'll explain what is the process scheduling. Example, you have a PC and this PC already you are watching a movie. At the same time you are working in a MS Word document. Okay, how many processors running? 2 processors running. So when 2 processors are running in the process, and which one should be done first? Example, you want to do MS applications first. Means you need to, you want in a sequence. That sequence is nothing but the process scheduling. Okay, so example, for right now we are working in MS Word document. Next, immediately you are shifted from MS Word document to your movie. So what happened? You are forcing one process to leave and another process should be joined. Okay, because you are giving more priority to movie. Understood? So it is nothing but which process should be in a execution and which process should be in a ready state. That you can decide by using a process scheduling. Understood? Means which one should be first and which one should be next. That is nothing but the process scheduling. So when come to our subject, if more than one process is running in a multi-programming environment, in a multi-processing environment, if you have a more number of processes and you are running, so what happened? The operating system will maintain a scheduling, which one should be first and which one should be second. That is nothing but the process scheduling. And it is a activity of the process manager. It is the activity of the process manager. What this program will do? It removes the current process from the CPU and it loads the new process into your CPU. CPU means it will execute your program. Means which process should be in a running state and which process should be in a ready state. I think already I have explained the states. Ready state means the process is ready for the execution and it is waiting for a CPU. Running process means it got the time of the CPU and it is executing. Understood? So what is the process scheduling? Process scheduling is nothing but it is a process of deciding which process should be in ready state and which process should be in running state. Understood all of you? And when you have a multiple process, that environment is called as a multi-process environment. When multiple tasks are there, then what we'll do? We will decide the sequence. We'll give the sequence. Okay, so in the system, the operating system will create that sequence. That is nothing but the process scheduling. Understood all of you? So what is the process scheduling? Process scheduling is nothing but deciding which process should be in a running state and which process should be in a ready state. Understood all of you? Now here I'll give you one already we have completed process scheduling. What is the process scheduling? Now I'll explain process scheduling queue. Means the process which are waiting for a CPU for execution. That process should be stored in a means maintained in a queue. That is called as a process scheduling queue. Who will maintain this queue? Who will create the queue? The operating system will create the queue. And operating system will create the queue for each and every process. Every process, it will create a queue for the process state and as well as a process control block PCB. Okay, for every process, about the process, from where the operating system will get the information from the PCB. So it will maintain separate queue for process state as well as a PCB. Understood? Means the process which are in a same state. For that the operating system will maintain the separate queue. Understood? And when process changes from the current state, then the PCB will be unlinked from the current state and that will be joined in a new queue. Understood all of you? I'll explain once again. operating system will maintain a different queues for process as well as a PCB. Okay, PCB will get information, means the PCB will store the state of the process. Okay, when the PCB stores the state of the process, what happened when the process changes from one state to other state? It should also be unlinked from the current state to the new state. So what happened? The process should move from one queue to another queue. Understood all of you? Operating system will maintain two queues. One for the process state and the second one is the PCB. PCB will store total complete information about the process. When the process states will change, then the PCB will be unlinked from the current state and that will be moved to a new state, new queue. Because there it will, example, if a process is moved from the ready state to the running state, there what we are doing, we changed the state of the process. We changed the ready state to the running state. Then PCB will move from the ready state, PCB will move from ready queue to running queue. So it is unlinked from the ready queue and it will be entered into a new queue. Understood? So this is the cycle of the process. Means from the starting to ending. So when any process is created, it is a new process. Then what happened? It will enter into a ready queue. Ready queue means here the process is ready for program execution and it is waiting for the processor. Understood? Here the process is ready for the CPU, ready for the execution and it is waiting for the CPU. So if the CPU has given the time, so what happened? The process is executed successfully and that will be terminated. Understood? Okay, but if while executing, process is not completed and it is waiting for any input and output. Example, you have written program for sum of two numbers. And in sum of two numbers, you are taking a value and a b value from a user. Like this. Enter a value. Next user will give 10. Next enter b value. The user will give 20. In this case, what happened? The process should wait for input values from a user. So what happened? From the running state, the process is moved to input and output request queue. All the rectangle boxes are called as the queues. Means their number of processes are there. Okay. So from the running state, the process is moved to a input and output request. If the input output request, if the number of processes are available, then the IO is given. Again means input values are received by the user. Again it is entered into a ready state because again the program want to execute. So if the program want to execute, then it should move to ready queue to the running state. Understood? Here, what is the program? Sum of two numbers. And in the sum of two numbers, the process is taking a value, b value from a user. Okay, before completing an execution, first it should receive a value from a user. So what happened? From the ready queue, from the running state, it is moving to input and output. Okay, because here it wants a input and output. So it is in the ready queue. Next it is executing. In the middle, it want to take input value from a user. So again it is moving. Actually it is called as suspending. It is moving from running state to the input and output request. That's the state. Okay, this is called as a queue actually. Input and output request. So when it receives input and output input value from a user, again it is moved to the ready. Because meanwhile, when it is moved from running to the input and output request, what happened? CPU should not be idle. Scheduler will load the another program. Okay, when this process entered into a CPU again, that should be released and this should be loaded. Understood all of you? One process is waiting for input and output request. Then what happened? CPU idle. So what I am doing, I give time to another process. So when this process takes input from the user and again it is coming for a CPU for execution, then what happened? Whatever process is running, that is removed from the processor, and the existing process will be loaded into CPU. Actually, this process is called as a context switching. Understood? This is one case. Second one, the CPU, the process is running. Meanwhile, the time slice expired. The process is waiting for some input and output. Whatever time is given for that process, that is expired. Again, the process will enter into a running state to ready state. I am waiting for a student. I have given a process time to one student, but he didn't come. So what happened? The time slice expired. No, again I have given time to a new student. Again the old student will be in a ready state. Now come to the third condition. While executing a process want to create a child process. Okay, for example, average is a parent process. To calculate the average, we need a total. So in a real time, what we are doing, total is called as a child process and average is called as a parent process. But if the parent want to complete an execution, what happened? The child process should complete it to execution first, because if you want to calculate the average, you need a total. That total program is given to a child process. So for execution, I'm present right now. I'm executing average. Meanwhile, I want to total. So again, from the running state, the process is moving to a child process. Next, when the child process is completed its execution, again the parent process is entered into a ready state. Understood? Here, what example I have given? Average I have given. For average, directly you can't calculate the average. If you want to calculate the average, you need to calculate the total. So that process, that task, I have given to the child process. So if the average want to complete its execution, first it should get total from a child process. So again from the running state, the process is moved to a child process. Fork, child. After executing the child process, again the process will enter into a ready queue. The next and the last one is wait for. Okay, the last one is a wait for an event. Wait for an event means if you want to execute any event. Okay, if you want a process is waiting for an event, means of putting a CD like that. If the process is waiting for any event and if the process is interrupted, that event has not completed, then again the process will enter into a ready state to the running state. Running state to a ready state. Understood all of you? If it is working, if it is executing, that is running state. If it is waiting for any reason, that is called as a ready state. Okay, when any process is waiting for any requirement or any interrupt, that will be moved from the running state to the ready state. Okay, now here how many queues the operating system will maintain is job queue, ready queue, and the next one is a device queue. Job queue is nothing but whenever any process enters into execution, means whenever any process is moved from secondary storage devices, from the secondary memory to the primary memory for execution, that is called as a job queue. Okay, means whenever any program is entered into a secondary memory and it wants to execute, then a separate queue will be maintained, that is called as a job queue. It is not entered into a CPU. Okay, just they are waiting. Next, ready queue. And next, whatever process are there, they are ready for the execution. That are called as a ready queue. Understood? Next, the third one is a device queue. If any process is waiting for any input and output devices, any input and output, not devices actually. A device means you can take CDs and DVDs. If any process is waiting for any input, just now I have explained, enter A value, B value, means in that case you are taking input from a user. That is called as a input and output queue. If any process is waiting for any input or output, that process are maintained in a device queue. Understood all of you? Here, process scheduling queue. Process scheduling queue is nothing but It's nothing but maintaining. Whenever any process is entered into a memory, the operating system will maintain queue. Okay, so it will maintain queue for different process states and PCB. Understood? Here these are the different process states. Whenever a process is created, whenever any program is created, that is a job queue. And whenever any process is ready for the execution, that is a ready queue. Ready queue means the process is entered, the process is ready for the execution, but the CPU time has not given. The operating system will means operating system is not loaded that process into a CPU, means a processor. Next, device queue. If any process is waiting for the input and output from a user, then that will come under the device queue. Understood all of you? These are the process scheduling queues. Okay. Why don't you take this screenshot? Now here we will discuss about the scheduler. Actually, what is the scheduler is? It is a software. Okay, it is a software. And what is the use of this software? Using a scheduling process, whatever process they are waiting for a CPU, and if they are waiting for input or output, or they are waiting for a child process, what we did, all the process we maintained in a queue. So when you come to a scheduler, what it will do is, whatever process are there in the queue, it will pick the process from the queue and it will load that process into a CPU. That is the job of the scheduler. So what is the scheduler? Scheduler is nothing but it is a special software which is designed to select one process from the queue and load them into a CPU. Understand? There should be one person who can select the job from the queue and load that process into queue. So that role is played by the scheduler. What operating system will do? It will maintain the queue. Okay, but what scheduler will do? It will select one job from that queue and it will load that job into a CPU. Because if the job is loaded into a CPU, then only the program will be executed. Okay, understood? So here again we have three types of schedulers. Okay, first one is long-term scheduler. Long-term scheduler. The next one is a medium-term scheduler, and the third one is a short-term scheduler. Okay, long-term scheduler. It's very important question. Schedulers. You can expect this question in the exam also. Long-term scheduler. This is also called as job scheduler. Job scheduler, actually what it means is, when any process, when any program is stored in the secondary memory. Okay, and this scheduler, what it will do is, it will select the process from the secondary storage device, secondary memory, into a primary memory. Okay, it will load all the process which are waiting, which want to execute. It will transfer all the files which want to execute from the secondary memory to a primary memory. So what it will do, whatever process want to execute, then it will pick all the process from the secondary memory and it will create a queue called a ready queue. Understood all of you? What is the long-term scheduler? Long-term scheduler is nothing but if whatever process are there in the secondary memory and the process which want to execute, then it will select all the process from the secondary memory and it will maintain a queue, and that queue name is called as a ready queue. I think you all know the ready queue. Ready queue means the process which are ready for the execution and they are waiting for CPU time. So here, what the scheduler should think is, when a number of processes are waiting for a CPU, then it should create a queue based on the priority. Means, for example, based on the time also it can select. There are 5 processes are there. 5 processes. Process 1, process 2, process 3, process 4 and process 5. 5 processes are there. And for this process execution, 1 minute. And this is 2, this is 10, this is 7, not 7, we'll take 3. Next to 4. Execution time. In this case, how it should maintain a queue? It will maintain a queue like this. First to P1, next to P2, next to P3, next to P4, not the P3, P1, P2, P4, P5, next to P3. Instead of this, if it will maintain a queue like this, P3, P5, P4, P2, P1, example. So here to complete the execution, how much time we need here? Example P1, 1 second. P2, 2, 3. Next to P4, 3, 6. P5, 4, 10. 10 plus 10. 20 seconds are enough to execute all this process. Understood? Now you take the second example. Here P3, 10 seconds. Means till the 10 seconds. Here the remaining process should be in a waiting state. Understood? First process only you are giving. In this example, P2 is waiting for only 1 second. And P4 is waiting for only the 3 seconds. That time also it should calculate. Next, P5 is waiting for 6 milliseconds. And P3 is waiting for 1 plus 3, 3 plus 3, 6, only 10 milliseconds. But here, when in the second example, here the P3, first we have loaded the P3. P3 itself is taking a 10 milliseconds. So P5, 4. So the P4 is waiting for a 10 plus 4. 14 milliseconds it is waiting. Understood? So, in order to increase the performance of the CPU, the process should not be in a waiting mode for a more time. Understood? So, when your queue is maintained, the scheduler will think all of these things. Means the whichever job is less time and whichever is important, which is having a more priority, that will be executed first. Understood all of you? Once you go through this. Here P2 waiting time is 1 millisecond. P4 waiting time is 1 plus 3 milliseconds. Next P5 waiting time is only 6 milliseconds. But in the second example, first it is maintained a queue with a more execution time. So what happened? First process P3. Okay, it is executing for 10 milliseconds. The next process, even though their execution time is very less, they have to wait for 10 milliseconds. So when it is creating a queue, it should create a queue such that the total process execution time should be less. Understood? The waiting time for all the remaining process should be less. So what happened? The CPU performance will increase. Understood all of you? Now come to a medium term scheduler. Medium term scheduler. Here actually what is a medium term scheduler is, one process is running. Example, already I have given one example. I am explaining in the class. Okay, and principal sir came. He want to give us some urgent message. So what happened? I'll give the class to principal sir. Understood? So what happened? Because he is important than a lecturer, and whatever message he is going to give, that is important. So here what I am doing, forcibly lecturer is moving and giving a class to principal sir. That is called as a swapping. Based on the priority or based on the timestamp, you can take. So example, here there is the queues. That is the process which are waiting for execution. P1, P2, P3 and P4. Now, this is an example processor which is executing programs. Okay, first P1 is entered into a processor and the P1 execution time is only 1 millisecond. Next P2 execution time is 10 example, next 20, 30. This is a normal queue actually. So right now which process is executing? P1. Okay, next 1 second is over. Next P2 is entered into CPU. Now 10 milliseconds. While P2 is executing, another process is entered into queue. With the example, this is a P5 with only the 2 milliseconds. Example. Then what we'll think actually according to the performance wise, when any process is executing with the less execution time, we'll give the current CPU time to that process only. Okay, because instead of waiting 10 milliseconds, 10 plus 20, 30, 30 plus 30, 60. Instead of making that process to wait for 1 minute, here what we are doing, in place of P2, we'll move the P2 from the process, we'll move out the P2 from the CPU and we'll load the P5 into a CPU. That is called as the swapping. Understood? So here, medium-term scheduler. Medium-term scheduler mainly deals with swapping. Means any one process is running, any one processor with the CPU and any new process is entered with the less time and the more priority. Then what it will do? It will swap. It will swap the process. Means it will replace the process with the another process. That job will do in a medium-term scheduler. Okay. Understood all of you? So it deals with the swapping of the process based on the priority and based on the timestamp. We'll move the current process and will replace the new process. Hence, in place of the old process, new process will be replaced. Next and the last one is CPU. The last one is the short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler. Short-term scheduler is also called as CPU scheduler. Okay, CPU scheduler. Actually, what is a CPU scheduler? Here, directly here the process are waiting. It is close to the CPU and it will select the process from the queue and it will load into a CPU and it will follow the different algorithms, different priorities it will follow, and the whichever process is important, whichever is having a less time, that job will be selected from the queue and that will be loaded into a CPU, and it is very critical and very important scheduler. Understood? Now this is about today's topic. Just I'll give you the brief introduction of this one. The revision I will do. First one is process scheduling. Process scheduling means in a multi-programming environment, more than one process is running. Number of processes are there. So at a time we can't load all. So what we are doing, all the process we are storing in a queue. That is called as a process scheduling. Means which one should be executed first and which one should be waited for the CPU. You should have a sequence. That is nothing but the process scheduling. Okay, so for each and every process, when it is executing and when it is waiting for a CPU, the operating system will maintain different queues for a different process. First one is the ready queue. The first one is the job queue. The second one is the ready queue. The third one is the device. Okay, already I've explained. I think I don't. It is not there in the board. So ready queue means if any process is ready for execution, the number of processes which are ready for the execution and they are waiting for the CPU time, all those processes are stored in a ready queue. And when the process is executing, it means from the running state, it can enter into input output, or it can be entered into child process, or it can be terminated if all the instructions are over. Understood? Now come to scheduler. See, operating system will create the queue, but who will select the job from the queue, from the scheduling queue? The scheduler will select. So what it will do, it will pick one job from the scheduling queue, and it will load that job into a CPU. Okay, what is the job of the scheduler? it will pick one job from the queue and it will load that job into CPU for the execution. So here there are three types of schedulers: long term, medium term. The third one is a short term. First one is what is long term. Long term means whenever any process want to execute. So the what operating system will do, all the processes which are there in the secondary memory and which want to execute, it will take all the jobs from the secondary memory and it will create a queue, a ready queue, which is stored inside the CPU. Understood? What queue it will create? Ready queue. Ready queue means the process which are waiting for a program execution. So all those process enters into a ready queue. Understood? The next one is a medium term. Example, CPU time is given to a process and a new process is entered with a more priority. So what happened? The current process is removed from the CPU and CPU time is given to a new process. Okay, that is done by the medium term scheduler. That process is called as a swapping. Next, the third one is short term scheduler. Short term scheduler means the operating system will create the queue. So this short term scheduler will select the job. It will select the process from the queue and it will load that process into a CPU. So that is about short term scheduler. I hope you all understood. We'll continue in the next class. Thank you.